Why confrontation shakes most people. Have you ever walked away from a confrontation and realized it stayed with you longer than the other person? You see, this is the first clue to understanding the nature of human conflict. The wound is not in what was said. The wound is in your reaction to it. Most men believe they lose confrontations because the other person was louder, sharper, more prepared. But this is an illusion. The truth, which I have observed across decades of studying human nature, is far darker. You lose confrontations internally long before you lose them externally. When someone provokes you, they are not seeking truth. They are not interested in resolution. What they seek, what they desperately need, is to feel significant. And they cannot feel significant alone. They need your emotional participation, your anger, your defensiveness, your words tumbling out in justification. This is what feeds them. Perhaps you've felt this too. That burning sensation when someone questions your competence, mocks your choices, or dismisses your worth. The urge to correct them, to make them see, to win. But here is what I must tell you, and you must listen carefully. The moment you feel that urge, you have already been hooked. The trap has closed around you, not because they are strong, but because you have handed them the weapon they needed, your emotional response. Most confrontations are not threats to truth. They are traps of ego. And ego, my friend, is the most fragile yet tyrannical master you will ever serve. By the end of what I share with you today, you will understand something most men never grasp: how to make confrontation psychologically powerless against you. Not by becoming aggressive, not by developing clever comebacks, but by becoming untouchable, unshaken, uninterested. Why arguing is always a loss. Let me tell you something that will disturb you. Humans are not driven by reason. We like to believe we are. We construct elaborate philosophies. We debate. We present evidence. But underneath all of this, beneath the veneer of rationality, there is only the will, a blind, insatiable force that pushes us to assert, to dominate, to be. In confrontation, this will reveal itself completely. No one is listening. Everyone is defending. The person across from you is not processing your words. They are preparing their counterattack. They are protecting the image they have of themselves, the narrative they've built. And you are doing the same. Ever notice how the loudest person in the room is usually the least secure? This is not a coincidence. Volume is compensation. Aggression is fear dressed in noise. When a man raises his voice, he has already lost control, not of the conversation, but of himself. His composure has cracked. His inner authority has fled, and everyone in the room feels it, even if they cannot name it. I have watched countless arguments unfold in drawing rooms, in universities, in the streets. And the pattern is always the same. The one who speaks loudest believes he is winning. But observers see something else entirely. They see desperation. They see someone bleeding power with every word. Here is what most men fail to understand. The moment you feel the need to respond, you have already surrendered your position. Because need implies dependence. It means the other person's opinion has penetrated your defenses. It means they have disturbed something in you that you cannot control. True strength does not argue. It does not need to. Truth stands. It requires no defense, no justification, no elevated voice. When you chase validation through confrontation, you reveal that you do not possess inner certainty, and the other person senses this immediately, like a predator sensing wounded prey. The illusion of winning an argument is perhaps the most seductive trap of human ego, because even if you win, even if you reduce the other person to silence or force them to concede, what have you actually gained? Their resentment, their determination to undermine you later, and most importantly, you have confirmed to yourself that their opinion mattered enough to fight for. This is why arguing is always a loss, not because you might be proven wrong, but because you have already proven you are shakeable. The psychology of provocation. Now let us go deeper into the darkness. Let us examine why people confront you in the first place. Most provocations are not about you. They are about the other person's internal chaos. You see, human beings are fundamentally driven by suffering. We carry within us a constant dissatisfaction, a restlessness that can never be fully satisfied. This is the nature of the will. It wants, endlessly, without ever reaching fulfillment. When someone confronts you aggressively, they are attempting to discharge this inner suffering. They are in pain, though they would never admit it. And pain, my friend, seeks company. Misery does not want to be alone. It wants to drag others down into its realm, to make them feel the same disturbance, the same loss of peace. Let me be brutally honest with you. People who provoke you are stealing. They are stealing your emotional energy because they have none of their own. They are restoring their wounded pride by attempting to wound yours. This is not conscious, of course. Most people have no idea why they do what they do. They are puppets of their unconscious drives, convinced they are acting from principle when they are merely acting from pain. Think about the last time someone disrespected you. In your workplace, perhaps. A colleague who questioned your competence in front of others. Or in your family, someone who dismissed your achievements, mocked your ambitions. Or online, where strangers feel entitled to judge your existence from behind screens. What were they really doing? Were they presenting a thoughtful critique? No. They were attempting to feel significant by making you feel small. They were discharging frustration that had nothing to do with you. You were simply available. You were there to absorb their poison. Here's what they won't tell you. They don't want your truth. They don't want understanding or resolution. They want your emotional participation. They want to see you react, to watch your composure crack, your voice rise, your carefully maintained dignity slip, because in that moment, they feel powerful. They have moved you. They have proven they can reach you. And this is their victory. Not in being right, not in winning the argument, but in making you care enough to defend yourself. Do you see the trap now? The game is rigged from the beginning. The only way to win is not to play. But most men don't realize this until they've wasted years, decades even, of emotional energy on confrontations that never mattered. Stillness is psychological dominance. Now we arrive at the heart of the matter, the power of stillness. When you remain calm in the face of aggression, something extraordinary happens. The other person is forced to confront themselves. You have removed the target. You have refused to participate in their drama, and this unsettles them far more than any counter-argument ever could. Watch what happens when someone attacks and receives no reaction. First, there is confusion. They expected resistance, emotion, defense. Instead, they encounter a wall of indifference. So they escalate. They push harder, speak louder, become more insulting. And with each escalation, they expose themselves more completely. The calm person does nothing, says nothing, or very little. And yet, to everyone observing, it becomes crystal clear who holds the power. Not the one shouting, not the one attacking, but the one who remains unmoved. This is psychological dominance in its purest form. Not dominance through force or cleverness, but through self-mastery. The unshaken person demonstrates something that most people can never achieve: control over their own emotional state. And this control is more threatening to the aggressor than any weapon, because here is what the aggressor realizes, consciously or not: I cannot move this person. I cannot disturb their peace. I am powerless here. Let me give you an example. Two men in a room. One is shouting, gesticulating, his face flushed with anger. The other sits quietly, perhaps looking at him, perhaps looking away. Who do you respect? Who do you fear, in the deepest sense? Not the loud one, who has lost himself, but the quiet one, who remains in possession of himself. The loud man is reacting. The quiet man is choosing. And choice, my friend, is freedom. Reaction is slavery. This is Schopenhauer's logic distilled to its essence. Emotional detachment equals superiority. Not superiority in the sense of arrogance, but in the sense of elevation. You have risen above the game. You have transcended the need for validation, for victory, for being proven right. And when you transcend that need, you become unreachable. People can throw their worst at you, and it simply slides off, because you have decided, internally and absolutely, that their words have no power unless you grant them power. This is not stoicism in the popular sense. This is not suppressing emotion or pretending you don't feel. This is genuine indifference, the kind that comes from understanding human nature so deeply that you see through the performance, you see the insecurity, you see the pain, you see the desperate need for significance, and you feel nothing, not contempt, not pity, just disinterest. And nothing in human psychology is more devastating to the aggressor than your complete lack of interest in their attack. Mental techniques for any confrontation. Now you might be thinking, Schopenhauer, this sounds beautiful in theory, but in the actual moment, when someone is in my face, when my heart is racing, when every fiber of my being wants to respond, how do I remain unshaken? A fair question. Let me give you 3 techniques rooted in what I have learned about human nature. First, internal distance. When confronted, immediately shift your perspective. Do not see the person as a threat. See them as a psychological case study. Observe them as a physician observes symptoms. Or, you think, here is someone whose ego has been wounded. Here is someone discharging pain. How interesting. This mental reframing creates instant distance. You are no longer a participant in their drama. You are an observer of it. And observers cannot be harmed by what they observe. The moment you pathologize their behavior, you remove its power over you. I do not mean this cruelly. I mean it accurately. Most human aggression is simply unprocessed, suffering, seeking an outlet. When you understand this, you can watch it unfold with the same detachment you might watch a dog bark at shadows. Second, delayed response. If you feel the urge to speak, do not speak immediately. Count to 5, 10. If you can manage it, let silence do its work. This delay serves two purposes. First, it gives you time to regain control over your own emotional state. The initial surge of reactive energy dissipates. Second, it completely destroys the other person's emotional momentum. They have built up energy for your counterattack. When it doesn't come, that energy has nowhere to go. It turns back on itself. I have seen grown men rendered speechless by nothing more than a calm, delayed response. They were prepared for battle. Instead, they received nothing. And this nothing is more powerful than any words you could have spoken. Remember, he who controls the tempo controls the confrontation. And calm always dictates tempo. Third, indifference framing. Before any word leaves your mouth, before any emotion rises in your chest, make a decision. This does not deserve my energy. Not I will control my energy, but this situation is beneath my investment. Do you see the difference? One is effortful suppression, the other is genuine disinterest. When you frame the confrontation as unworthy of your emotional resources, something shifts. You are not fighting yourself to stay calm. You genuinely don't care, and this authenticity is what the other person senses. They can smell pretend calm a mile away, but true indifference, that is impenetrable. Let me give you a line that has served me well throughout my life, a truth so potent that it can transform your relationship with confrontation entirely. Nothing terrifies ego more than indifference. The aggressor needs your reaction like a fire needs oxygen. Remove the oxygen and the fire dies. Refuse to care and you watch them suffocate in their own aggression. It is almost cruel in its effectiveness. Almost. These three techniques, internal distance, delayed response, indifference framing, they are not tricks. They are shifts in consciousness. Practice them, not because you are afraid of confrontation, but because you are uninterested in wasting your finite life force on spectacles performed by wounded egos. Controlled words, controlled power. But what if silence is not an option? What if you must speak? Then speak with economy, with precision, with the bare minimum required. Because here is what most men do not understand. Over-explaining is a form of insecurity. When you justify yourself extensively, when you present argument after argument, when you try to make the other person understand, you reveal that their understanding matters to you. And the moment their understanding matters to you, you have given them power. Truth does not argue. Truth does not chase validation. Truth simply is. It stands on its own, requiring nothing from anyone. When you embody this principle, your words carry a weight that no amount of clever rhetoric can match. If you must respond, do so slowly. Let each word land with intention. Use minimal language. And above all, avoid justification. Let me give you examples of controlled response. Someone attacks your decision. You do not explain your reasoning, your process, your justification. You simply say, I see. Someone questions your competence. You do not list your achievements, your experience, your credentials. You say, that's your perspective. Someone demands your attention, your apology, your submission. You offer, noted. Do you feel the power in these minimal responses? They give nothing, they concede nothing, they explain nothing, and yet they acknowledge the other person just enough to remove their ammunition. There is nothing for them to grab onto, nothing to argue against. You have left them with nowhere to go. This is linguistic mastery, not in the sense of eloquence, but in the sense of efficiency. Every word beyond necessity is weakness. Every justification is defense, and defense implies you have something to defend, which means they have already landed a blow. The truly powerful man speaks rarely and briefly. His words are stones dropped into still water. They create ripples, then settle into silence. He does not chase the ripples. He does not explain them. He simply lets them be. And here is what happens. The other person, expecting battle, receives only coldness, simplicity, minimal engagement, and this confounds them. They came prepared for war. You offered them a closed door. They cannot fight a door. They can only stand before it, feeling foolish, their aggression revealed as impotent theater. This is how you respond when you must. Not with heat, but with ice. Not with many words, but with few. Not with justification, but with statement. You do not seek to be understood. You do not seek to be respected in that moment. You simply mark the boundary and return to silence. The respect comes later, when everyone has had time to reflect on who remained in control. The unshaken mindset. Now we approach the deepest transformation, the shift from technique to being. Everything I have shared with you, the observation, the silence, the minimal response, these are not merely tactics. They are expressions of a fundamental reorientation in how you see confrontation itself. Most men see confrontation as a test of courage. Am I brave enough? Will I stand my ground? Will I defend my honor? But this is a misunderstanding of what is actually being tested. Confrontation is not a test of courage. It is a test of self-mastery. The question is not whether you can fight back. The question is whether you need to. The question is not whether you can win the argument. The question is whether you require victory. And the deepest question of all, can you be insulted, attacked, dismissed, and still remain in possession of yourself? This is the difference between the fearless man and the unshaken man. The fearless man still cares. He faces the threat with courage, yes, but he acknowledges it as a threat. He rises to meet it. His pulse quickens, his identity engages. The unshaken man, he is uninterested, not because he is detached from life, but because he has understood something profound. Most confrontations are beneath his attention. They are not worth the expenditure of his inner peace. They are noise, and he has learned to live in silence. When you reach this state, something remarkable happens. You do not seek respect. You command it silently, without trying, without performing, simply by being unmoved. People sense this quality immediately. They may not be able to name it, but they feel it. This person cannot be manipulated, cannot be provoked, cannot be drawn into ego games. And in a world where almost everyone is at war with themselves, where almost everyone is desperately seeking validation, your calm becomes magnetic, not because you are friendly or warm or socially skilled, but because you are free. Free from the need to prove yourself, free from the fear of judgment, free from the tyranny of other people's opinions. And freedom, my friend, is the rarest and most attractive quality a man can possess. Let me tell you something that may disturb you. When nothing can provoke you, nothing can control you. This is absolute psychological sovereignty. This is what kings and emperors have sought throughout history, often through external means, through conquest, wealth, power over others. But true sovereignty is internal. It is the kingdom of self-mastery. And you reach this kingdom not by defeating others, but by becoming indifferent to their attacks, not by winning confrontations, but by transcending the need for confrontation entirely. This is the final shift, from seeing yourself as a participant in the drama of human ego, to recognizing that you can simply step aside. Let them perform, let them rage, let them seek significance through provocation. You are no longer available for that theater. You are unshaken, not because you are strong in the conventional sense, but because you have realized that most of what seems to matter, most of what people fight about, argue over, defend with passion, simply doesn't. It is smoke. It is the blind will thrashing about, seeking to assert itself, finding only temporary satisfaction before the hunger returns. And you have seen through it. You have glimpsed the truth that most men spend their entire lives avoiding, that human existence is fundamentally driven by irrational forces, that reason is often just rationalization, that what people call honor or pride or principle is often just ego defending itself. And having seen this, you cannot unsee it. You cannot go back to taking it seriously. You cannot pretend that the person screaming at you is engaged in something meaningful. You see it for what it is, a performance of pain. And you feel compassion perhaps, or pity, or nothing at all. But certainly not threat, certainly not the need to respond in kind. The mountains do not move. So here we are, at the end of what I have shared with you. The next time someone tries to shake you, and they will, because this is the nature of human interaction, this desperate grasping for significance through dominance. I want you to remember something. Most people are not at war with you, they are at war with themselves, and they drag you into their battles because they cannot fight them alone. They need your participation in order to feel real, to feel significant, to discharge the suffering they carry within themselves. But you no longer have to participate. You no longer have to take the bait. You no longer have to prove, defend, justify, or win. You can simply be unmoved, unshaken, untouched. Not because you are heartless or cold, but because you have understood what few ever understand, that your inner peace is more valuable than any victory in any confrontation, that your self-possession is more powerful than any aggression, that your silence speaks louder than any words you could offer in defense. Storms do not disturb mountains. Rain does not wound stone, and the man who has mastered himself cannot be reached by the desperate provocations of those who have not. This is not arrogance. This is simply truth. The truth I have observed across a lifetime of studying human nature in all its darkness and all its potential. You are not unshaken because you are without feeling. You are unshaken because you have seen through the game. You understand the psychology of provocation. You recognize insecurity dressed as aggression. You see the trap for what it is, and seeing it, you are free. Be unshaken, my friend. Not because confrontation doesn't exist, but because you have something more valuable to protect: yourself, your peace, your sovereignty, your life, and that is worth more than every argument you will ever win.